What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video. And guys, like the video, give a big thumbs up and YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so there's great DC Comics content every day that you don't want to miss. Now guys, Dark Knight's Metal number 6. We're here at the conclusion to this big saga written by Scott Snyder and drawn by Greg Capullo. And guys, it's crazy that we've gotten this far. Like, I thank you guys for supporting me in this whole thing. This is the 11th video, and after I release this one, I'll combine them all into probably like a 2 to 3 hour video if you guys like to watch it. But it's a 2 to 3 hour video explaining the whole series. It'll get you all caught up for Dark Knight's Death Metal. But this has been a cool journey, guys. It's been pretty cool with like Batman the Last, the whole Dark Multiverse, Batman's role, Hawkman's role, all the different fights, the action sequences, the art by Greg Capullo, the colors by FCO Placenta, all the awesome stuff. But with all the setup, all explained out of the way, we're finally at the conclusion. And this is when Scott Snyder puts all his crazy stuff on the table. This is where it like really wraps up well. Because like before this, yeah, we had the setup at the beginning. Well, we had like the prequel ones, like Dark Days of the Forest, Dark Days of Casting. That was cool, right? But then, we had like the setup, Batman getting sucked into the Dark Multiverse. Then we had, oh, they had to go save it, land into that trap. We made it halfway through the series. Then we got to the part where it's all coming together with like the World Forger, Hawkman being the World Forger, and like them facing up Barbados, the Earth sinking to its lowest point. So now it's just Barbados forces versus the last heroes of Earth, pretty much Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl. They're just fighting off with like a war cry. That's where we left off, and it's crazy. Batman, Superman, they're sunk at the bottom of the World Force. There's no way to get out. Well, we'll find out how they get out in this issue. But this is where it wraps up, guys. It pretty much sets up like the Justice League series. Well, Justice League No Justice was like a 4-part series, which was pretty dope. And then the Justice League Scott Snyder series led to Justice Do More, that Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, which I actually reviewed that, guys. If you want to check out the top right corner right here. But then after that, we're getting Dark Knight's Death Metal in like a month. A month, guys, and I'm excited. Alright, I'm excited for that series. It's gonna be awesome, and it's a sequel to this big series. But yeah, guys, enough of this intro. Let's get to Dark Knight's Metal number 6. So guys, here we are at the final issue of Dark Knight's Metal, and it starts out, and we got this dope cover. We have Batman on like a Joker dragon, which is really cool. We have Wonder Woman and Superman on each side of him. They're pretty much going at Barbados' forces, and it's gonna be a cool issue. So we dive in, and we see pretty much Batman Last. He has that one guy strapped up. We don't know who this guy is, but we'll find out soon. And he's telling Barbados, he's like pretty much narrating this thing to this guy who's strapped up, and he's like, oh, you never thought it would happen. That the Dark Multiverse would take over, that the villains would win, the whole multiverse would be swallowed up in darkness. And this guy is pretty much like surprised, like, no, it can't be. And we see Barbados pretty much holding the cosmic tuning fork. He's just watching all the stuff be like engulfed in darkness. So it's not going well. We're seeing Aquaman, Green Lantern, Deathstroke, Mr. Terrific, the Plastic Gang. They're all being held in captivity, and they have no hope. Like, they don't have no motivation. They're just like, whatever, like, we lost. And then we see pretty much these two last people, Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl, or Lady Blackhawk here, and they're fighting off like hundreds of thousands of dark forces, like an evil big dark side, which looks really cool. We see a cheetah version of Wonder Woman that's evil. We see like different evil Supermans, Batmans, and they're just fighting them off. And Lady Blackhawk, or I'll just say Chandra Saunders, she's like, Wonder Woman, we can't keep doing this. Nobody else in the universe is motivated, nobody wants to win. Barbados is one, we can't do this, and we've been fighting for hours. How else are we gonna do this? And Wonder Woman's like, hey, I'm gonna keep signaling out, and eventually the heroes will come. What she's doing is she's like heating the mace with her bracelets and hoping like Green Lantern, Aquaman, they'll hear her, and then eventually they'll be like, okay, we gotta fight out, clear a path, and Wonder Woman will get through and they'll beat Barbados. But so far they've had no luck. Like, Wonder Woman's beat up all these people, like last issue, she never stops. But there has to be a point where you're gonna die and you're just fighting off forever that you get tired, right? But we see Wonder Woman, and she finally like, I can't do it anymore. She's actually starting to give up a little bit. Like, she's like, I can't contact them. and she's following all the villains just around her. Like a mid-tour version of Wonder Woman is like right next to her, and they're about to take her down, but then Conjura's like, just hits the mace and the bracelet one more time, and they'll hear. And Wonder Woman does that, and that's Aquaman, Green Lantern, Deathstroke, and Mr. Terrific all hear her, and like, we gotta clear a path. So the plan worked. When we see him taking down the evil Batman, like Devastator, the evil Aquaman version of Batman, and we see Mr. Terrific, he's like, hey, Plastic Man. So Plastic Man's like stuck in this egg, and he won't wake up. And Mr. Terrific's like, hey, this is the best time to wake up, we need you now, we're like running low, we can't fight off against all these forces. He's like, turn into a dinosaur, turn into like a bulldozer, a damn shark, anything. And Plastic Man just says all the above, and he just comes out and starts like beating the crap out of people, like killing different evil people, and it's a pretty cool image, like that. Look at that, that looks cool. And we see Plastic Man holding off this big dark side, and Wonder Woman and Conjure Saunders goes through like the dark multiverse. So they go into it, and as they're going through, Lady Blackhawk or Conjure, she's telling Wonder Woman, hey, I'm sorry for doubting you. Pretty much you're the only one who stuck through this the whole time. Superman and Batman gave up hope, I gave up hope, Aquaman gave up hope, but you're the only one. Wonder Woman's like, no, it's all of us, we have to stick together. And Wonder Woman then has the last attribute, she dives into the dark multiverse. And Conjure holds this in case she gets lost. But Wonder Woman goes in there, and she's like, for family, for the Justice League, for everyone. She's just chanting this. And she sees Hawkman, and he's the World Fortune, right? And like he's been going through that loop. He's been going through the loop trying to reach freedom, but right now he's evil and under like the control of Barbados. And he's like, all roads lead to darkness. He's just repeating this. And he goes to attack Wonder Woman, but as he goes attacks, then comes Conjure. And Conjure's like, Carter, stop. And Conjure's like, it's me. And Hawkman's like, my God, she's actually alive. Like seeing them reunite, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, it's big. But Barbados is like, no, that can't happen. Because that's the only way that Hawkman will come back to the light. And we see Barbados is like, no, that's not. One was like, we can do this, and Barbados is like, no, Hawkman's lost. You guys won't win. He's pretty much like taunting them. But out of a big portal comes pretty much Cyborg, Raven, Flash, and all these different Batmans from the multiverse in like the Ultima Thule, which is like the thing that traveled through the Bleed, traveled through universes, and they pretty much recruited these people from Earth 53. And guys, what happened in like the interlude issue, Dark Knight's Rise and the Wild Hunt, all these universes were consumed with darkness, so they couldn't recruit them. But there's this extra Earth that Barbados and Batman Last didn't know about, and we see a Batman with a classic costume. We see Red Sun Batman, which is so cool, a Dracula Batman. Like, it's pretty dope, and Scott Snyder knows how to do crazy stuff. But then what we see is Hawkman's down there, and he's talking to Conjure. Wonder Woman's like, I'm gonna dive into the Forge, because this is the Forge, guys. And one was like, I'm gonna dive into the Forge and save Superman and Batman. You hold him off. She dives in, and Conjure's like, I can't do that. And then she's like, ah, crap, okay, I'll go for it. So she starts talking to Hawkman. She's like, she tells him, I am Conjure Saunders, and you are Carter Hall, proud leaders of the Bird Tribe. She just starts chain out, telling him that, so he remembers who he is. And she's then blasted like a Joker dragon, and we see like this weird type of light mixture at the bottom, which we'll see soon, and that's actually another form of metal. It's bigger than Nymphmouth, so it's coming soon, guys. But what we see next, you'll see Aquaman getting stabbed, Green Lantern getting taken up. They're all losing again. So they're all losing hope once again. And Barbados is like, all hope is lost, all roads lead to darkness, you guys are losing. No fool would come and fight me. And then, out of pretty much the World Forest, that light mixture, that new metal, comes Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. And they're shining in this new thing called 10th metal. And guys, this is pretty much like creation. So 8th metal was like the thing that the gods used, so like myth gods, like Zeus, they used like the 8th metal. It was very powerful. But then the 9th metal could actually like, it made the dark multiverse grow. It like grew darkness, but it could also be used to kill it too. So it's like a double-edged sword. But then the 10th metal, you can pretty much create reality. You can do anything with it. It's from the Forge, and that's what the World Fortune uses to create 9th metal. So it's a crazy thing that Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman have, and they're pretty much like unstoppable. And Conjure is like in surprise. She's like, holy crap. And then we see Batman and Superman do it, contacting the Justice League, Flash, Green Lantern, like, oh, thank God, we were losing, we need you guys. And we see the Ultimate Bull get like pretty much destroyed in a way. Like it gets attacked, but Flash, Cyborg, and Raven are alright. They're just a little hurt. And we see Barbados like go kill Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. He releases all his forces at them. And we see Joker dragons going out, and Superman and Wonder Woman fight him off. But one one's like, "Hey, Batman, do you need a lift because he can't fly?" He's like, "I got it." He punches a Joker dragon right in the face, gets on top, and just starts flying, guys. And we see Aquaman and Green Lantern, they're fighting off, they're beating up like a different evil Batman. They're like, we're glad you're back, Batman. And then we see pretty much Batman's explaining like creation. Well, I talked about like the 8th male, 9th male, and 10th male, and how you can create anything. And you know, Batman decides to create, he creates batarangs. Like he has this cool ass image that shows him throwing like these batarangs that are just like pure light. Like guys, look at that. Like that looks really cool. And it's one of my favorite images in the entire series. Like it's probably one of my favorite images in this book. Like it's really cool because it's just how FCO Placenta like colors it and Greg Capullo draws it. Looks so dope. And yeah, see Aquaman, Green Lantern, they're fighting off, and they get injected with this 10th male. So now the whole core Justice League are like powerful. And we see him fighting off, taking down the evil Batman. And Barbados like, no, this can't happen. Like he's losing now. When we see Dr. Fate, he goes to different parts of like this area, saves Starfire, saves Beast, because all they were converted to like the darkness, but now they're coming back because they're winning. We see Green Arrow save Steel. We see like Harley, Damian, Nightwing, and Killer Croc. They're like, yes, finally. And Nightwing's like, man, I knew Batman would come back, but in like shiny metal, like come on. And we see Dr. Fate like, it's time to break the circuit. It's time to win. And we see Barbados, like, he's starting to screech. He's getting mad. He's like, no. And if he screeches, then that means more dark forces, more power will come. So he knows that'll help him out. But Hawkman finally gets up. He's like, no, it'll not happen. He's explained this in his journal. He's like, when it comes to the point that the heroes are late and we're turning the tide, I will come back and destroy Barbados. And that's what he does. He gets his mace and hits it, like his huge mace, hits it right across Barbados. And pretty much they're in like a big fight. Barbados is like, traitor, I'm gonna kill you. Hawkman's like, I'll go for it. And they actually fought before, like thousands of years ago. So this is our second time. It's pretty dope, guys. And then we see this is like the final plan. And because Barbados like reaches out to Bound Glass while he's fighting Hawkman, it's like, enact the final plan, finish the job. We see the Bound Glass, he's talking to this unknown person again. We find out it's the Monitor. Guys, the Monitor was way back in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it shows he's been around since, and he was just getting over Final Crisis. So now he's in another crisis, and the Monitor's huge. Like, when he shows up in a storyline, you know some big stuff's about to happen. You see, like, the evil Robins around him. Battle Glass explains, he's like, I have the power of you, the Monitor, and the brain of the Anti-Monitor, and the power of myself, and it's all going to cancel out all these energies and pretty much collapse the multiverse, and it'll destroy it. And all that'll be left is darkness. So the anti-matter universe, the positive matter universe will be gone. It'll just be darkness and dark worlds, and pretty much like a dark multiverse. So pretty much Battle Glass is carrying out his plan way again. So really, the main villain of the story isn't really Barbados. Like, yeah, you can say it's Barbados, but I really think it's Battle Glass because he's carrying out all the plans. He's the mastermind. He enacts the final plan. He's doing all this stuff. But Barbados is just that powerful dragon, really. And he talks a big talk, but it's really Battle Glass that's carrying out his plans. But we see him doing this, and he's about to pretty much put these forces and destroy the multiverse, but Batman shows up. He's like, you call this a cave? And he comes over, and he's like, I'll fight you off. And Batman's last is like, try me. And then we see Batman just like go through the evil Robin, beat them up, and we see this brutal fight between Batman and the Battle Glass. Like, they're fighting each other hard, like beat the crap out of each other. Then Battle Glass explains that, hey, you always hold back. You don't kill, you don't do that, and that's what makes you less than me. And Battle Glass stabs through Batman. Batman's on the ground, and Battle Glass, like, he has the gun that killed their parents. And he has the gun that killed Martha and Thomas Wayne, which is really crazy. And he's taunting Batman. And he puts the gun to Batman's head, and Batman's like, just fire the damn gun. And Battle Glass is like, okay, it's good that you finally see him. Batman's like, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to him. And then we see, guys, the biggest part, like, probably the best scene in this entire series. Guys, it's, oh my gosh, it's awesome. Joker. Joker shows up, and he's like, he just teams up with Batman. Like, this is crazy. Battle Glass thought, oh, it's gonna be a three-way fight, right? No, it's Batman Joker versus the Battle Glass. So pretty much Batman Joker versus Batman Joker. That's what it is. But this Battle Glass, he doesn't have the mind of Joker. Yes, he's been induced with the toxin, but he's more just Bruce Wayne, super smart, but insane. So he doesn't have like that same unpredictability like Joker, and that'll help Joker and Batman in this fight. And what really throws us back is way back in issue number 1 of Scott Snyder's Batman run, when Batman and Joker were teaming up technically in Arkham against different villains, and it turned out to be Nightwing. At the time, I was like, oh, we've never seen this. This is really cool. But then when they faked it out, I was like, okay, I get that. But seeing this now, it's like Scott Snyder planned this all along. Like, I don't think he did. Like, that's really far off. But still, he was probably like, okay, I kind of faked it out way back when. Let's actually make it happen here. It's so creative, guys. To see Batman and Joker versus a Batman who lasts, like, who would have ever thought DC would do that? And Scott Snyder, like, this makes Scott Snyder one of the best writers right here. When we see him, like, taking down the Batman last, beat him up, and Joker is just crazy. He's like going full on. Batman is doing good. He's fighting off. He has the martial arts skills, but Joker's unpredictability is like taking Batman last at every point. Like Batman last can't keep up. And we see Batman last get his like fingers chopped off. He's getting beat up, and the monitor's like, "What's going on here? Like, what am I watching?" And we see Batman last tries to get away, and Joker goes after them. They're both laughing. And we shift back to all the heroes in 10th Mel fighting out the evil Batman. The Aquaman version of Batman now is evil. She gets stabbed and killed. The Devastator gets beat. So that's the reason I didn't cover all those tie-ins. Like, I'll cover the Batman Who Laughs in like a separate video, and Red Death, because I really like Red Death. But the other like ones like the Devastator, the Merciless, the Drowning, they pretty much get either killed or just forgotten here. And they're not really important. They're just like evil Batman to add to the story, so I didn't really feel like explaining their origin story. So they're not super important. But right here we see Barbados and Hawkman fighting. Barbados is gaining the upper hand, and he's about to take Hawkman down for good. And guys, if they do that, that'd be bad. That'd be really bad. And he's like, all roads lead to, and that's when Contra pretty much takes a 10th Metal Dagger, shoves it right through Barbados, and kills him. Like, well, not kills him, but takes him down. Like, he's done. He's pretty much like the last one. All the evil Batman are done, the Dark Forces, the Army's done, and he's the last man standing, and he's out. So the heroes are pretty much one in a way. Now we see Batman right away with the Monitor, taking him out of that cave. We see Joker and Batman Masters beating the crap out of each other as like the cave is collapsing. And we see all the Justice League meet up, and the Monitor explains, okay, you might have defeated Barbados, but there's still, everybody's like consumed in darkness, and the dark multiverse is still taking over. We're all still collapsing in darkness. And Justice League pretty much combine, hold hands, and they make this big energy that reaches across the whole universe, guys. It reaches across different parts, strangers, heroes, all across to the source wall. And you see these different images. You see like Superman, Batman, they're like consuming this energy. And you see it like hit the source wall, and you're like, what just happened? And the source wall just breaks. Guys, this is huge. So behind the source wall is a lot of different things. It actually goes on into the Justice League run with like the Titans, Perpetua. So this opens up a whole can of worms that have just been explored, and they're actually being explored further in like Dark Knight's Death Metal. But right here we see it end with like a hand just reaching out. Now we then shift to like an epilogue. Alright? This is the epilogue. We see Alfred pretty much welcome the whole Justice League in. They have like the tuxedos, they're all talking, they're happy they won. So everything's good. And Bruce explains that everything went back to normal. With 10th Mel, they used reality to create like everything back to normal and erase the dark multiverse. Like, it's not totally gone, but it's out of the DC universe. And we see that the Monitor pretty much chained up Barbados at the bottom of the dark multiverse. He won't be getting out of there anytime soon. And we see all these heroes talking about what has happened. And Contra explains, she's like, so Hawkman, like, Carter Hall's back at Black Hawk Island, and before he went to bed, like, he's been sleeping now, and he hasn't slept in so many years. But he's sleeping now, but before he went to sleep, he wrote down all these different things, stuff he saw at the War Forge, and pretty much the new age of heroes. And what this really is like DC just like foreshadowing everything to happen. And by the way, all the stuff that they list here has happened in other books, which I'll explain as we go. And we see the new age of heroes like Sideways, the Immortal Men, pretty much the I think it's the Unstoppable or Unforgettable or whatever their name was. It was like a team that only lasted for a little bit. But the new age of heroes, they're cool at the time, but they're not really anything now. Honestly, the only one that really stuck around was the Silencer. Like, she was cool. That was a cool series. But everything else just kind of got forgotten. And it kind of sucks because this series hyped it up so good. and DC just let it go to the wayside. But guys, we also see like at the Dreaming, we see a book has gone missing. So like the whole library is good now, it's not burning anymore, but there's still a book missing, and Dream of the Endless will have to deal with this in the Sandman universe comics. So that's a big deal, and we see pretty much the narrate, okay, we restored the DC universe back to what it once was, but we also opened up all these new realities and these new stories. Like the Dark Stars are back for the Green Lanterns, and that was a big arc. That like ended the whole Hal Jordan the Green Lantern Corps. Then we also had like the Dark Pantheon, which is like a huge arc in Wonder Woman. We had like the Sink Atlantis arc with like Suicide Squad and Aquaman, like the Atlantis rose above sea level. We also see like Flash versus Wally West. That was a big Flash War thing, which is crazy because Flash War was way back in issue number like 47 that started, and we're now on issue number 91 or 752 of Flash. It's crazy how far we've been. And we see all this stuff, and we see like the tie-ins from the source wall. So it's a lot of big stuff that got people excited. Me, myself, way back when I read this, I was like, this is gonna be dope. And most of these storylines were really good. Like some of them, not so much, like they're decent. But a lot of them were really great. And then what we see is all these heroes are talking, like we'll deal with it, we'll come for a Justice League again, we'll keep fighting, protect Earth, protect the multiverse, and they pretty much do like a cheers. They're at the round table, it's pretty cool, and Batman then has them have a party, which I don't really care about this part. Like I get there has to be positivity, but come on. All these heroes just having a party and stuff, it just doesn't really work. But still, they're all happy, and Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman go to another room. And by the way, guys, they're in like the tuxedos, and they walk to another room. Wonder Woman's like, okay, since the source wall is broken, how are we gonna deal with this? And Batman's like, I have a plan. And we see pretty much plans of the Hall of Justice. So that means the original place that the Justice League would meet up and talk plans, how to beat the villains, is back. They're gonna build the Hall of Justice, and it actually happened in Scott Snyder's Justice League run. And it's really cool. It's one of the best things that's happened in recent years. Like guys, I love the Watchtower, and I love different things that the Justice League meet up at. But the Hall of Justice will always be like the best area that they met. Like it's just like the OG place. It's so cool. But guys, that's where it ends. And it says the adventures of the Justice League continue in Justice League No Justice. And that's when like they team up, fight against the Titans. Then we have Perpetua. It's a lot of different stuff that they deal with that is beyond the source wall. So this whole storyline opened up a whole new possibility of storylines that like Scott Snyder can deal with. And he made it really crazy. And now, as we like 3 years later, we're going to Dark Knight's Death Knell, and it's crazy. I can't believe we're here. Like it's so cool. But yeah, guys, that's the explained part of this issue down. Let's get to my review of Dark Knight's Metal, number 6. So guys, this issue, like this final issue is so crazy. It's one of the best ones. It's really good. There's only one part at the end where they're like partying and stuff, and that was kind of weird. Like I just felt, I get that to positivity. Like it wasn't weird, but it just wasn't as awesome or crazy that we've been reading. It was like, okay, they're having a party, whatever. Like I don't care about reading that. But still, it was cool the Hall of Justice at the end. Like this whole storyline sets up a lot of cool stuff to come. But in the issue itself, we had Joker and Batman versus the Batman Blast, which is one of the best things in DC history, I think. Like, it's really awesome. And then we see, like, Hawkman versus Barbados. A lot of action, guys. Contra and Wonder Woman teaming up. We see him use 10th Metal to fight off all these forces. Really dope. We see Plastic Man. He has an awesome scene. No awesome scene for Martian Manhunter, which is kind of disappointing, but then he gets a big role in No Justice League series, so that doesn't matter. But still, the art by Greg Capullo and the colors by SCO Center really sells it. Like, Scott Snyder can do a great story all he wants, but if he doesn't have good art, it won't be readable. Like, all this crazy stuff is made awesome by Greg Capullo. Like, how he draws Plastic Man, how he draws Barbados, Hawkman, Joker, Batman, Batman Last, all his the Monitor, all how he like conveys it and uses like the flow of the story to his advantage. It's just so cool. And it's an awesome series, guys. So good. And I'm overall gonna give this final issue a 9 out of 10. Like, you guys knew it. Like, I honestly thought like the best issue of this series was issue number 4, where we saw Dream of the Endless, Hawkman was revealed as like the World Forger, because everything was coming together and it's just so fascinating. But all the other issues were just so good too. Like, they're in the 9 out of 10, or at least an 8.5. It's one of my favorite DC events of all time. It's just really awesome, guys. But yeah, guys, I thank you for watching this whole thing, this whole series where I explained Dark Knight's Metal. I'm happy you watched, because now you're caught up for Dark Knight's Death Metal, which is really cool. because now you can go into Dark Knight's Death Mail, notice the different references Scott Snyder will be putting, like I'm pretty sure he will, and see all the connections to it, and then you know a little about Batman Who Laughs. Like I'll make a video explaining Batman Who Laughs so you know a little more about him, and then we'll see Perpetua, and guys, Wonder Woman, like Scott Snyder said, will be the big like character in Dark Knight's Death Mail. Like Heroes, Batman, and Hawkman. But he did on Wonder Woman so well in this series, like issue number 5 and 6, where she never stopped, that I'm excited to see what he does in Dark Knight's Death Mail. Like, it'll be cool to see what he does with her and all the other characters. But it's, you know what, Scott Snyder, I don't care what anybody else says, he's the best writer. Best writer DC, Marvel, best writer in all comics, I think. And Greg Paul is one of the best artists. Like, they just do it so well. Like, they haven't failed yet, I don't think. Like, they did the Black Mirror storyline, which is really like the breakout storyline at DC, which was really awesome. The Batman New 52 series, and then this, and then the Justice League series, No Justice, now Dark Knight's Death Mail. Like, they haven't failed yet, and I don't think they will. Like, they just do awesome stuff, and they, like, contribute to the fans, and they listen. Like, Scott Snyder listens to the fans, and pretty much puts the fans' work into a story, but makes it even more crazy. It cranks it up to, like, a 10. But yeah, guys, this overall series was awesome. Definitely recommend. I'm not gonna really give it a score. Like, you know what? It's a 9 out of 10. There you go. It's a 9 out of 10. Like, I think it's an amazing storyline. Definitely recommend it. Check it out. Like, if you don't read this story, you're missing out on awesome Batman stuff, awesome, like, just crazy dark multiverse stuff, and just a cool experience in general. But yeah, guys, if you like this video, give a big thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, bro, subscribe to the channel. So it's great DC Comics content every day that you don't want to miss. And yeah, guys, that's the video. Peace out.